Chapter. Hey everyone, welcome. How's everybody today? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. You guys can stay off mute just because we're a small class, or you can mute yourself and we can utilize the chat box. But today our class is going to be on Blonde Me Express, Melting, and Balayage. And this is the virtual edition with me. My name is Serina Aguilar, and I'm an artistic educator with Matrix. Thank you guys all for coming today. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing with you some quick express techniques that we can do in the salon behind the chair that will help you to save time and money, and also be able to give your clients what they're looking for, especially if they just want something sun-kissed highlights, because spring is coming just around the corner. And so what I wanted to do was stop sharing just for a second. And if you guys are all ready to get started, just throw me a thumbs up in the chat box, or hearts, or hi. And let me know where you guys are joining from. I'm here in Colorado, and today it's pretty cold. We got some snow this morning and yesterday, and so it just keeps coming. So we are ready for summer and those highlights to get started. So first things first, we wanted to kind of talk about the look a little bit and what we were going to give our client. And we're going to do some sectioning, and we're going to, I'm going to show you with my client. Here's the end result, what we're going to be looking for later. This side is already finished. And what I've done is I've just balayaged her hair just around the part line where she has a nice sun-kissed look. Can everybody see that okay? You can just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see the highlights in the screen there. Okay, and this is what we're starting with. This is what we're going to be working with today. It's all natural hair. So I'm going to show you with Matrix, let's see, with Matrix tools and their products that we're going to be going into today. So first of all, we're just going to talk about the lighteners that we have. The lightener, they have several different ones, but the ones that we're going to be focusing on is the Light Master with the bonder inside it. This is brand new. And can everybody see that okay? This is going to give you 8 levels of lift, controlled lift, and it already has the bonder inside. So you're going to be able to skip the step of throwing a bonder in there, and you're going to be able to get your 8 levels of lift already pre-mixed with the bonder inside. And it comes in a powdered consistency. And what you're going to do is, when we get ready to mix this, we mix it in equal parts. So it comes with a little scoop already in there, and you just scoop there, and I just use the top of the bag and my thumb to scrape off, and then we have our scoop. So once we get started with that later, we're gonna just use 1 scoop of the Light Master bonder with the bonder inside of it. And what they've come up with is a Light Master. It's a freehand additive that we're going to add into the lightener. And what this is going to do, it's going to encapsulate the hair strand so that, like, when we put the lightener on, it basically covers over that lightener and acts as a protectant to keep the hair moist inside. Also, it's going to cover it from touching any of the other hair that you are dealing with that you're not painting. And this is ideal because you don't want to have a messy balayage with color all over the place. So that's really helpful, and it saves the step of using foil. You don't have to use cotton or saran wrap. You can just apply it and move on to the next thing. So that's one of the benefits of using the clay additive, because it's already saving you a step of not having to use foil and saving you the money of not using foil too. So who's ready to get started and use this lightener? Let me see a thumbs up. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Okay. Also, with her today, we're going to use 30 volume matrix cream developer. So we're going to have 3 products that we're going to use to start off with. The lightener, the additive, and the 30 volume developer. So we're going to use 1 scoop of the lightener, 1 scoop of the freehand additive, and 1 ounce of the matrix cream developer. And what I like to do first is mix the 2 powders together first, just because if you put the liquid in and then put a powder in, and it's a lot easier to, with the consistency, not to be so clumpy. So we've got the 2 mixed together, and we'll add the lightener in a minute. But before we get started with that, we want to talk about sectioning and placement. So right here I have a let's see, where'd it go? I have a little chart for how we're going to apply the color, but first I'm going to get her hair sectioned. And since we're just going to be balayaging around the front, we are just going to take, we're going to start from her natural part of the hair. So wherever she parts her hair, we want to use that as our guide to start off with that section there in the front. Can everybody see that okay? Okay. Let me just stand here to get her part. Okay, so this is where her natural part is. So we're going to be working with that, and we want to use her natural part because we want that sun-kissed look to be on the top. All the depth is going to come from the darkness, you know, hair that we don't usually get color on whenever it's sunny outside. You know, that hair is always sun-kissed from the top. So we're going to leave the dimension underneath, and I'm just going to part from behind the ear. So we're just going to take this first quadrant here. So there's the ear. So there's your section here and your second section on top. And we can just clip the rest of this out of the way because we're not even going to touch that hair right there. So comb through this nicely, kind of let it flow to see where the natural part and sectioning is for her hair. And there it is. So we're going to start with this. So we're going to talk about the different points of sectioning. There's 3 of them. The first one is where we're going to see the most contrast. And we're going to paint in a V shape, just taking the natural section of the hair. So here we go. So if this was her natural hair and we were just painting along, you'd have the most contrast here up against this highlight. So there's the first one. The second one is we're going to paint both sides of the V. So the first one was just one side of the V. And the second one is now we're going to paint on both sides of the hair section. This is for medium contrast. And then the third one is going to have the maximum lightness And can everybody see that okay? We'll have the maximum lightness within the hair color. So we're painting a V and then we're adding another line in there, creating a W.
Can you bring those closer to the camera, please? One more time. Oh, perfect.
Can you see that better? Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Here's the third point, maximum lightness, medium lightness, and the most contrast. Can everybody see those okay?
Perfect. Yes. Thank you.
Good. Great. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide which one you want to see today. Do you want to see one with the 1 point, the 2 point, or the 3 point? And you guys either just come off mute and let me know or type it in the chat box. And I am going to demonstrate for you how we achieve that lightness. Okay, somebody put 1. Okay, so we'll do the 1 with the most depth and the most contrast. So I'm going to post this here for you guys if you want to look at that. Oops. I dropped my oil additive. And we can talk about that later, but the oil additive is basically if we're doing something on scalp, which we're not doing on scalp, we're doing off scalp. So we'll just stick with the clay additive one today. Okay, next we're going to talk about our placement. And how many of you guys have heard of the peaks and valleys in the hair? Oh, somebody put 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll show you one of each. We'll do like 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. Okay, I didn't see all that. Okay. Okay. So has any one of you guys heard of the peaks and valleys in hair? If you have, either raise your hand or say it in the chat box. All right. Nobody. Okay. Well then, let's see her. So can everybody see her okay on her hairline? All right. So I have a chart here that I also made for hairline valleys and peaks. So a peak is going to be anything that comes to a point around the hairline, like a widow's peak or just a high point in their hair. And then a valley is going to be one of the curves in the head. So hairlines curves away from the face. So these are going to come away from the face and these are going towards the face. Okay, does anybody have any questions about peaks and valleys?
What's the difference of a real peak and a real valley?
I'm sorry, the difference between a peak and a valley?
Yes.
Okay. So where the guest hair parts their hair. So like, for example, we'll just take the front section here. We're going to have a peak right here. See that arrow that the hair naturally comes to? See if we put an imaginary line there, that would be a peak. Okay, now this curve, that's going to be one of our valleys. Okay, did I answer your question for you okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so we're going to paint on the peaks today. So I'm going to take my section here and I'm going to clip this out of the way. And we're going to start with this. And we want to take sections that we can work with. We don't want big sections because if we have a too big of a section, you're not going to get like the maximum amount of lightness because with the lightener, it slides onto the hair. It slides on really nice and smooth onto the top layer. So it won't even go through to the middle and the bottom. So that would create brassiness. And what we're looking is for a sun-kissed color on the top. So we want to make sure that our sections are not too big. And here's one of the peaks here. So that's where we're going to begin. All right. So now that we're ready to add the lightener, the cream developer, I save that for the last part just because once you get your lightener and developer mixed, it's gonna start working right away. So we want to save that till you're really ready to start coloring. And I like to mix in 1 ounce at a time, just to make sure that my timing is on point and that I'm not wasting a lot of developer, and so that it also lifts evenly. So here's our measuring cup. We're going to measure at the 1 ounce there, if you guys can see 1 ounce, and then just your matrix cream developer. We're going to get 1 ounce, and you'll just add it to your lightener and your clay additive, and make sure you get all of the developer out. Now, if it's too thick, you can always add more cream developer just to your liking, but you really want it to be not too runny, because you don't want the lightener running like all over the place, running all over the other hairs, onto the floor, just everywhere. So you really want to keep it like a clay consistency. So you can see it's already starting to thicken up. So you want to make sure also too that you get all of the clumps and the chunks really, really thoroughly mixed in with your developer. All right, almost done mixing. Okay, so now you can see it's really thick. It's not sliding anywhere. It's not coming off my brush. Well, it's coming off now, but like if I put the color on my brush, it's not going to fall off. It's there to stay, and that's going to give me maximum control for putting it onto the hair. And I'm going to get a clean brush here, and I'm also going to wear a glove. So 1 second. And I like to use these thicker paint brushes just because you get more control with painting on the hair. And you want to go in a circular motion going down, same with the hair strand. And I like to start here just because then you have a little bit of room to clean up around the front. So can everybody see this okay? Good? Okay. So I like to start off with a good amount of product on my brush. And as far as tension, you want some tension, but you don't want to pull too hard. You can also ask your client to tilt her head a little bit so that it lays with the hair. And you want to have this laying down pretty good. You can have a little bit of elevation, but for the bottom pieces, we really want to keep them a little lower. So start here at the middle, and then you can work your way up going in circular motion. And so the first one we're doing is the 1 point. And so we are just putting on the front so that we have the most contrast towards the back. And if you like to use one of the paddle brushes, then I pinch the bottom and then I pinch it against the board, and then I can just brush this all the way down to the end, and making sure that you have the most saturation, and then brushing it to where it just lays down. Okay, can everybody see that okay? Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, so now we're gonna skip over the curve part, and we're gonna go, here's the curve. We're gonna skip over the curve and we're gonna go to the next point. So here's the next point here. We're gonna clip this hair out of the way. We're going to take a subsection of that section. And we're going to elevate a little bit, holding with your forefinger and your thumb. You just pinch it. And now we're going to grab a little bit more product, and we're going to do the 2-point, which is medium contrast. So again, I start at the middle and then paint the forefront area. Get a little bit more product. Now see how it's just sliding right on with that, with the, oh, I can't think, with the freehand additive, it just slips right on, and that's what you want. You just want it to slide on, and then the other side. And then I grab my balayaging board and I pinch with my thumb there, and then I continue painting. And I can push this now into the board because now I have something to work with here. And I can even go back and saturate and make sure that it really saturates into the hair, and then slide it down. All right, and then we're just gonna jump to the top part for timing wise and get to this point here in the front. Okay. Okay, and we're going to take another subsection on this peak right here, and then you can see the valley. So we got a peak here. And grab our product, and this is the 3-point. So we can start again at the middle, continue with the left side, continue with the right front side, and then in the middle, 1. Pinch. Now you can clean this up a little bit more once you're holding. And if it's easier for you to elevate her hair a little bit more, just because it's on a weird part, because now it's starting to come in really deep into her forehead, you can elevate a little more to brush without it getting in the way. Same with that side, and get the middle. So you're going to have the maximum amount of lightness on this piece right here. Now, if you see anything that looks kind of messy, what I do is I just get my dry brush and I just pick it up and I just smooth it up, smooth it out, and clean it up. Because anything that you see that lays messy is going to stay messy. So you really want a nice, clean, smooth transition from the natural color into the lightener space. Okay, so now that we got her all sectioned up and colored and everything, I just want to review with you real quick. But before I review, does any of you guys have any questions? Oh, you love that brush. I love it too. Which one? I used like 3 or 2 since I read this.
I use a lot of them. I like is it the Kabuki or whatever? I can't think of the name right now.
This one, yes.
Yes,
The fan brush.
love that one. And I also love the one that Matrix, we went in together with, I think, was it Fermar or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's the glitter ones. Yeah, and so it has like the fan, so you can fan and really blur that line. Love those.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Great. So yeah, just a few hot tips. Just paint diagonally, V-shaped section for application. There's no need to separate any of this with cotton or foil because the clay additive is going to encapsulate that for you. So just, no crazy moving around or anything. You can increase the developer strength if you'd like to. And also take small sections for maximum lift and saturate. Saturate is saturate. You can't do enough saturating. And it's not the same as a foil application. So again, you're not going to push into the hair like you would a foil. You are going to just glide it on. It's just going to slide onto the hair. So if any of you guys don't have any more questions, that's it for the class today. I'm going to post the results on my Instagram. If you guys would like to follow me on Instagram, my handle is here. Let's see. Whoops. Let me share my screen really quickly. Okay, can everybody see that okay? All right, and make sure that you follow Matrix 2 and tag Matrix. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me on Instagram. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And let's see. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining. Bye. Thanks for the comment. Bye.